Alright, welcome back y'all to the channel. Today I got my boy Brady.
What's good?
And Keon. And today we're going to be talking about mental health. Alright, so like I said at the beginning of the video, I have my friend Keon and my friend Brady here. Before we start, just going to give a little introductions about themselves. So go ahead, Keon, take it away.
I'll start. As you know, I'm Keon. I'm a second-year student at my community college here in town, and my major is finance, and my hobby is photography.
I'm a second-year student at UCF, University of Central Florida, and I am majoring in finance as well.
All right. So for our first question, in general, like before the pandemic, how were you guys maintaining your mental health? Anyone?
I'll go ahead and take that. So for me, I really found peace when I would go to the gym, work out. That was a really good way to relieve stress for me, as well as just getting on FaceTime with my friends, whether it be Josh, Keon, or some of my other friends at other schools. That was a really good way for me to maintain that.
One thing for me maintaining my health was photography. It's just very peaceful for me, and on top of that, I like to journal and kind of self-reflect on, how my day goes and stuff like that. So those really helped me maintain my health.
And I feel like for all of us too, we were all played for Lakewood Ranch's basketball team. So we were doing something that we all loved with people that we were close to. So I think that's another tip too, like finding something you love to do with people you love is a really big portion in maintaining like your mental health.
Yeah.
So kind of moving on, obviously your expectations of growth and like advancing in things. So like for the basketball team, if you're in high school, moving from JV to varsity, that's kind of a part of life and kind of what you're looking forward to. But now that we're out of high school and in a pandemic, how have you guys kind of maintained, pursuing greater things?
I'll let you read.
Just kind of keeping your eye on the prize. Like I know my goals, they're written down on my phone. One of them is to retire by age 40, and honestly, I think I want to move that up to age 30. So just seeing those goals every day and keeping a mindset of I gotta hit that goal. What do I need to do today to help me reach that goal, and just making a little bit of progress every day.
Yeah, I think definitely having like a success conscience helps you a lot, because like Brady said, all of us have goals and we want to reach them, and every day it's just what can we do to get there. So I think that's just key to do the things. Like I know it's hard to not focus on it every day, but you have to do the things you don't want to do to continue with that.
Right. So how do you guys manage like the pressure? Because obviously like retiring by age 30, you want to do like photography, you're trying to start a business, everything like that. There's an expectation to like improve and get closer to that goal, but there's also pressure with, not necessarily keeping up with the timeline that you want or succeeding in everything you want to do exactly the way you want to do it, if you get what I'm saying. So how do you guys maintain pushing yourselves and also regulating that pressure that's on you to reach those goals?
I don't really think there's a set timeline for any one goal. It's kind of just like your own timeline is for you. Instagram kind of shows you that you should be having all this stuff done by the time you're in your 20s, and that's not the case. Instagram's just a highlight reel, and doing it on your own time is fine. If you don't get your dream job until age 30, that's when you get it, and that's okay. If you don't get married until you're 30, that's okay. There's no set time like, oh, you have to hit it by then.
Right, definitely. Actually, Kayla in the video yesterday, she said she had like a perfect quote. She said, "Life is not a race. Do everything at your own pace."
Yeah.
I was like, that's like perfect. Okay, so we were basically just talking about, Brady, you mentioned social media and like the impact, how it's a highlight reel and can make it difficult when you're comparing yourself to other people. Yeah. So both of you guys are relatively like successful, both in college, like doing things with your life. So how have you kind of managed social media's impact, like not comparing yourself, or maybe you are comparing yourself, like how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, I got it. So you really just got to remember that no one's ever going to post anything bad that's happening in their life. So all you're seeing is the good stuff, because that's all they want you to see. Like no one sees you when you're down in the dumps and really grinding to get what you want. And that's the same thing for them. You're not going to see them when they're down in the dumps and grinding. So you just got to go at your own pace, because that's how you're going to get it done.
I think for me, it really helps when I think of everyone's gonna have negative and positive opinions. So no matter what, someone's gonna have an opinion about what you post. So as long as you're doing it for you, that's what's important. But if you start doing it for other people, then that's when I feel, you start getting a little insecure about it, and then letting that opinion get to you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of another point too. You have to be careful, like who you let in your circle and who you like are consistent about keeping out, because not everybody's going to be helpful to your growth. You know, some people are just there to limit you and to be an obstacle. Which is kind of like on our next subject. How have you guys maintained like relationships? Because having too many friends is not really a good thing. You know, it's a lot of voices, a lot of people that want your time, and you can't really, I mean, the more busy you get, the less time you have for everybody else. You know? So how have you guys kind of maintained a close group of friends while also kind of regulating even like romantic relationships and everything else?
It's really just keeping your circle small, like you said. I mean, if you're telling everyone what you're doing, that's just going to be more people being like, you can't do this, you can't do this. It's just letting negative energy into your life, and then you're going to start questioning, oh, well, they all say I can't do it, I probably can't. So just keeping your circle small and keeping your plans close to you and the people who you know and you trust is a good thing.
And I think finding people that support you too.
Yeah.
Like support you, but will be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because like if you have a bad idea, like if you have a bad idea, I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, like when you do things, I'll support you. Like Brady's thinking of starting a YouTube channel, or he was thinking of it, and I was like 100% supporting him to do it. You know what I'm saying? Keon with the photography thing, 100% supporting. Like you need me to shout you out, like what you need. You know what I'm saying? So I think finding people that are willing to support you, but also are going to be like good guideposts. You know, are good things. Do you guys have mentors? Because I know it's another thing a lot of people talk about with mental health, just having people that went ahead of you that can kind of guide you in the right direction.
In terms of mentors, I have one in sort of like the topic of business. I also just picked up one for photography, and it's, you know, it's nice to have because you have that shoulder that's there when they wish they had that when they were your age, and you're going through the same thing they did, so it's just a nice experience like to have. But it's definitely useful, and I recommend it 100%.
I think I kind of just look up to more people. Like my financial advisor for me personally is someone that's very close to my family, and like I reach out to him all the time and just ask him questions, and we've gotten lunch before, so definitely super cool to nitpick someone's brain who's where you want to be at.
All right, so we talked a lot about stress and like all the things that are kind of weighing on you guys, but what are like the specific things you guys do to balance like school, business things you're going after, relationships, like everything that's kind of going on in your life?
Keon, you get that?
First, I think it's key to be organized. So having a plan and going towards that, but it all starts with a goal. So once you have a goal, then you organize it and kind of structure it, so then you can focus on, you know, where your time's going to be and where your energy is going to be. And also you have to learn how to say no a lot of times. Like I think that's very important.
Definitely. I used to have a problem with like saying no, just kind of like doing whatever it is, but the older you get, the more you recognize like time is very limited. You do not have time for everything.
And it's also just remembering that like, yeah, school is definitely important, but it's not the only thing that's going to set you up to be successful in life. There's so many other things that factor into it. And don't get me wrong, school is important, do your best, but it's not the only thing that'll make you successful.
Yeah, I think we could probably have a whole different video about like side hustles and doing everything else. I think it's really important. So specific, like in terms of, I know I journal sometimes when I'm feeling like overwhelmed. I do a lot of like reading the Bible, praying, doing that type of thing to manage my stress, and even working out. Like the weeks that I'm doing the worst, I'll be in the gym like 4 or 5 times a week just because it helps me, like obviously the neurotransmitters, all that type of stuff helps you feel better. You guys have things that you do like specifically when you're feeling down or feeling depressed or not, your mental health isn't where it should be?
I love just listening to music. I just turn my speaker up super loud in my room and listen to some acoustic vibes, some slow country music, some gospel music, just really mix it up and it just calms me down, works for me.
The biggest thing that works for me is definitely meditation.
How so? Like,
so just being able to mute all thoughts that you have and be in the moment. So just kind of clearing what's going on, like whatever it is. I also like to write notes to myself so that in a week, like when the week's over, I can reflect back on what I did and then, you know, either congratulate myself or be like, you know, that's still okay. Like, you know, like maybe I failed at that goal, but I learned from it, and I can, you know, go forward with a better process.
Right. And I kind of want to touch on too, because I feel like a lot of people, like when people are thinking about mental, like disorders or even just mental problems that you're having, people a lot of times associate it with weakness. And like I feel like that's not the case, especially in the Black community. A lot of people don't think that like mental disorders and things like that are real.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it is. So I don't know if you guys.
I mean, not to just make it like, you know, like a super saturated like commercial, but you know, like if you need someone, like you should reach out. Speaking what's on your mind, like scientifically, will help you become more at ease or more at peace with the thoughts you're having. And I think it's very important. But yeah, I mean, it's not embarrassing at all. Everyone goes through it. But the people who can deny it, then that's embarrassing for them, because you're coming to them with your problem. And if they embarrass that, then that's on them. That's not on you. That's just what you're going through. And
yeah, because I feel especially as guys, we have a tendency to not deal with our feelings.
Very true.
And in the long run, that's just like terrible for you.
Yeah.
Eventually it's gonna build up. And like, I kind of had an epiphany like a couple of years ago, or even a couple months ago. And it was like, just because you can do something doesn't mean it's gonna turn out right. So like the Bible talks about like having Christian friends that can support you and help like guide you along the right path.
Yeah.
So like you can live without it, but everything comes at a consequence. So like you can go on without expressing your emotions, without telling others how you feel, but eventually that's gonna develop into bad things.
Yeah.
Like emotional insensitivities, being able to not express them like in serious relationships and stuff like that, and not even like in a serious relationship, not being able to understand the opinions and the emotions that other people are feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a big problem with guys.
Yeah, and to go off what you said, like I've had people come up to me before who have had mental health issues, and they're 100% real, and I just always tell them the same thing, like really just pray about it, because there's nothing that the Lord can't help you get through, and He truly does love you.
Definitely.
Like, comment, subscribe, go Dolphins!
I'll just edit this middle part out. We'll shuffle around. All right.
Thanks for watching!